fight for our kids? Yes. That's what Governor Abbott has done. He has proven himself not as a politician, but as a patriot. Governor Abbott has always worked for the next generation. And he's worked for our kids. He works for our grandkids. He works for the blue. He works for the veterans. And as a first candidate, I'll tell you guys, it's not easy. This man, he's doing it for the third time. This is not easy. If you don't think this man is sacrificing for us, you got another thing coming, because this is a sacrifice. And why? Because we love Texas. Woo! So guys, are you ready? It is my pleasure to introduce to you our great governor of the amazing state of Texas, Greg Abbott.
To you. Howdy, El Paso. Give it up to Catherine Parker. I want you to know she's running for House District 74. Senator there. We need her in Austin, Texas. Listen, I'm proud to be with you here tonight. Let me tell you something. Let's get down to it. We are going to win in 2022. And let me tell you why. It's going to be so easy. All we have to do is to contrast what the conservative principles we've been fighting for have done to make Texas number one versus the way that the radical left ideology preached by people like Robert Francis O'Rourke right here in El Paso, and how it would destroy Texas. Let's take, for example, I know an issue that matters to a lot of Texans, and that is jobs and our economy and inflation. So understand this. Under our leadership, Texas ranks number one in the United States with the fastest growing economy of any state in the country. And since you all last reelected me to be your governor, Texas has added far more jobs than any other state in the country. Texas is the jobs leader. Listen, what Beto's openly talked about is increasing your taxes, spending more of your money. He would decimate the Texas economy, kill jobs, and stoke inflation to increase even more. We cannot allow that to happen in our state. So let me tell you a byproduct of our great economy. Our economy is doing so well. As we gather tonight in El Paso, Texas has a budget surplus of $27 billion. Some people have a front row seat. There's some people way back there. I want you to know when I said we have $27 billion surplus in the state of Texas. So what are we going to do with that? Well, we'll use some of that to address needs like education and healthcare and other things. But let me ask you this question. Whose money is that? You're exactly right. It is your money. I want to give it back to you with the largest property tax cut in the history of the state of Texas. Now, I don't need to tell you because you folks know that this is an area where Beto and I differ, because when Beto was serving on the city council in El Paso, he raised your property taxes 3 times. We don't need a governor who's going to raise your property taxes. You need to re-elect me to be your governor to cut your property taxes, period. So, one reason why we have such a big budget surplus is because Texas ranks number one in the United States for the most oil and gas production of any state in the United States of America. In fact, if Texas were its own country, we would rank 3rd or 4th in the world for oil production. Beto wants to end all of that because Beto embraced the radical leftist Green New Deal that would destroy oil and gas production. It would cause hundreds of thousands of good-paying jobs in the oil and gas fields. It would eliminate them, and it would increase the price that you're paying at the pump already. We will not let that happen. But listen, we know that, listen, this election is about far more than just things like the economy and jobs. One thing that it involves is our children, and especially what our children are being taught in our schools. Our schools are no place for wokeism. Our schools are for education, not indoctrination. I am the only candidate in this race that has fought back against critical race theory and the sexualization of what we're teaching our kids in schools today. We need to stop all of that, get back to fundamentals, teach our kids reading, writing, math, and science. But maybe most importantly, we need to educate our kids about why and how the United States of America became the greatest country in the history of this entire world. There's some men and women with us here tonight who helped make that happen. We are the best country in part because we've had the mightiest military in the history of the world. If there's anybody here who's ever worn the uniform, would you wave your hand so we can thank you? Look at all that. Thank you for your service. There you go. Most folks here are members of the military. Listen, thank you all for your service. You made American. The last thing that these people who put their lives on the line for our country would be to see the sources of socialism seep into our state that try to destroy the capitalism that has made Texas the premier economy in the United States of America. We will not stab you in the back. We will continue fighting for the freedom that you fought for us. But you know what? There's so many things that's happening in this race with the radical leftist ideology. You see some of this sweeping the country. You see images when you're watching TV about what's going on in Los Angeles and San Francisco. Have y'all seen these smash and grab operations that take place? It's outrageous. And then you see people in New York, push people in the subway, stab people. You see what's going on in Chicago every single weekend. It's atrocious. And there's one thing common with a lot of these areas. They have a disregard and disrespect for law enforcement. And to some extent, they even want to defund law enforcement. Beto came out in favor of supporting defunding our law enforcement. Let me tell you something. In Texas, we support our law enforcement officers, period. As y'all know, there is a radical leftist city in the state of Texas known as Austin, Texas. Austin, Texas defunded their police by more than $100 million. And it led to an all-time record high in the number of murders. Defunding the police is deadly dangerous, and that's exactly why I signed a law that will defund any city that defunds police. But you know what's more dangerous than that? Joe Biden's and the Democrats. Their open border policies are deadly dangerous. Remember this, it was just 2 years ago we had the most secure border in decades with the lowest number of illegal crossings in decades. And this past year we had the highest number of illegal crossings ever. Did you know that the United Nations has declared that the border between the United States and Mexico is the deadliest border in the entire world? That happened under Joe Biden's watch. And we're tired of it in Texas, and that's why Texas has done stuff no other state has ever done, why Texas is building its own border wall. While we have you like that. So while Texas has the National Guard and the Texas Department of Public Safety on the border as we speak right now, trying to do the federal government's job to secure our border. It's also why we're helping out these cities across the entire state. So what happened is this last April, what happens is the Border Patrol will have a large number of people come in. They will process their paperwork, give them paperwork that allows them to stay in the United States, and then drop them off at small communities like Eagle Pass and Del Rio and too many others. And I met with the leaders, the mayors, the county judges, the sheriffs, the police chiefs of all these small communities, and they said they can't handle the massive inflow of everybody coming in. I said, I'm going to take care of you, because that is when we begin sending the buses to Washington, D.C. So why Washington, D.C.? Two reasons. Washington, D.C. is a sanctuary city. They said they would do this, and it's virtue signaling because they said they wanted to do this, but as soon as they got just a couple of hundred migrants, they crushed and they crumbled and they cried because they couldn't take what they were having to deal with. And the same thing happened with New York City. And when it happened in New York City, finally the world knew what was going on. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Y'all live on the border. You know what's going on the border. Texans know what's going on the border. But here's the deal. If all you watch was Fox News, if you watch NBC, CBS, ABC, MSNBC, or CNN, you had no idea what was going on the border until they were going to the media headquarters of the entire world. In New York City, what happened in New York City, they had to cover the story because New York was having to deal with it. And what New York is claiming, they have about 25,000 migrants in New York now. And they say they need $1 billion to deal with it. Let me tell you something. If New York needs $1 billion for that, Texas deserves $1 trillion. So let me tell you what's about to happen. Let me tell you about what's going to happen on November the 8th. Yeah, you're right about that, but let me tell you who else is going to win. We got 1,250 miles of border. Let's talk about another portion of the border over down by the Rio Grande and by Laredo. There are 3 Latina Republicans who are running for the United States Congress. Among those three Latino Republicans, 4. There we go. We got 4, and listen, 2 of them are married. 2 of them are married to Border Patrol officers. So let me tell you what's going to happen on the night of the election and the day after that. The first thing they are going to do, they're going to go to Washington, D.C., and they are going to fire Nancy Pelosi as Speaker of the House. Second thing they're going to do. Did y'all hear this crazy thing that Joe Biden did about, well, it's a long list, but get 87,000 new IRS agents. Here, hold on a second. This is the good thing about it. It has not yet been funded. And so when Republicans gain control of the U.S. House and the U.S. Senate, which is going to happen on November the 8th, they're going to take the money that went to 87,000 IRS agents, and they better fund 87,000 Border Patrol officers to secure our border. And then there are the deadly drugs coming across the border. Fentanyl, you got a sign right here, fighting fentanyl, and we are fighting fentanyl because, listen, 2 milligrams of fentanyl is a deadly dose. The elements of fentanyl come from China. They go to Mexico where the drug cartels, they lace it onto what looks like valid prescription drugs. And a person takes one single pill and it kills them. And today, between the age group of 18 and 45 in the United States, the leading cause of death is not COVID, it's not cancer, it's not car wrecks. Is fentanyl. Also in Texas, this past year we lost almost 1,700 Texans because of fentanyl. And it's all being brought in by the drug cartels. And I am sick and tired of it, and that is why last month I declared the drug cartels to be terrorist organizations that the state of Texas is going after. Listen, there's a lot on the line this election. A lot on the line this election. There's the border, obviously, is one of the things on the line. There's your job, your taxes, your safety, your freedom. But more important than that, perhaps, is your values. Your values are on the line this election. And by God, we are not going to let any radical leftists change the values of the state of Texas. We're going to keep Texas, Texas. But let me tell you something you may not expect, and that is the winner or loser of this election next Tuesday night. I'm not going to be the winner or loser of this election. You are exactly right. You are going to be the winners or losers of this election. It's you. There you go. It's you. Your families, your future is on the line. And you need to know that at this time, Beto is taking a sledgehammer to your future, trying to destroy it and rebuild it in his vision of a radical leftist agenda. And I am not going to let that happen. We are going to win, and we're going to keep Texas red up and down the entire ballot. But here's the deal. Speeches don't win elections. Votes win elections. Now, I know there are a lot of you here tonight who've already voted, and I appreciate that. That's outstanding. But I also know that there are many of you here tonight who have not yet voted. And so here's what we need you to do. I'm going to talk for one more minute, and then I'm going to stay here and take a picture with everyone who wants a picture. And then if there's time left tonight, I want you to go vote. You can do it until 7 o'clock. And if you don't do it tonight, I want you to go vote tomorrow. I have is the closest location. After you take a picture with me, you can go to the YMCA West. You know where that is? 313 Bartlett Road, El Paso, Texas. Exit 11. There you go. Go to exit 11 and say, where do I vote for Abbott? And then, that's all you got to do. So vote tonight. But listen, if you think voting for me will discharge your duty, you're right by saying no. It does not discharge your duty. You need to get into the game on the field and fight. I need warriors on my side in this election. Here's all I need you to do. In your hands, everybody has a cell phone, or in your pocket or your purse. Everyone has one of those. And yours has something mine does not have. Yours has your contacts, people you know, your family, your friends, people who will trust and confide in you. I need each of you. And I'm looking at well over 500 people here right now. I need more than all 500 of you to send out 100 texts tonight, tomorrow, the next night, the night after that, saying one sentence: go vote early for Governor Abbott. If you do that, if we do just 100, we're going to have here just the people here tonight will have turned out 50,000 more votes. And if you do that, what's going to happen a week from now, almost to the hour, I will be declaring victory. And when I declare victory, I'm going to say it's because 50,000 votes were turned out in El Paso that began to be turned out this night tonight. So thank you, El Paso. Thank you for what you're doing. Continue to fight all the way through Election Day. God bless you all, and God bless the great state of Texas.
Everybody, if you'll line up right over here with the guy waving at you.